of our team, we just want to thank you. It's been a pleasure working with you and just watching how your idea blossom into a great event. So we just hope that from here on out that everything just works out perfectly for your event. We just want to thank you.
Thank you. Bravo to you guys. I read the full report, the final report, and it was beautiful. And it's been a real honor, seriously. So you have no idea how much of a blessing it is.
Yeah, and I don't know whether you know yet how much I like the report, but you'll find out.
Oh, yay. Fantastic.
And you want us to reintroduce ourselves?
Sure, absolutely.
Well, my name is Ebony Jones.
Awesome.
I'm Francine Tamaka.
Alex Nicholson. Brooks Fisher.
I'm Rachel Brewer.
Fantastic.
So the first thing we did is, when we began work on the Raven project, is we figured out all the things that needed to happen to make this event happen, and we separated it into a few different stages. So stage one is mostly a lot of kind of the creative part. It's very conceptual. You see that we started with the definition, we moved on to the feasibility analysis, we did the business model, canvassing, pitch development, all that kind of thing. And then stage two, we took the first steps necessary for kind of the rest of the project to happen. So attaining the funding, and we began promotion with the video, the poster design, all that kind of thing. Stage three, again, we're getting more solid here. Securing the venue, and trial workshops, although those have already begun. And then stage four is more of kind of the smaller tasks that are at the very end, that are just kind of the last little parts that need to come together. So the first thing we did was define the Raven project. We began with lots of ideas and lots of concepts. So we wanted to make it one very solid thing that you could brand, you could market, you could say, this is it. So it all came down to being an educational campaign with the purpose of celebrating the light from within humanity through ballet and education while making the learning process a fun and creative experience. So the Raven project consists of two main events. The first is the Birds of Light Ballet, the second the Angles of Motion workshop. The purpose of the workshop is not necessarily just classical ballet technique, but to empower the minds of young adults using the power of the body to strengthen problem-solving skills. It also includes the interview via Skype with legendary Raven Wilkinson. So development, we began with the business model canvassing exercise, which was really something that was great for us because it gave us a lot of opportunity to interact and to kind of get things started. Because this is not just, it's not just a product, it's not, this is what we're doing, this is what we're giving you. It's kind of a mindset, it's an attitude, it's a much larger thing. So we focused a lot on the value proposition to help us develop that. And the business model canvassing played a key role in developing the phases of the specific steps that needed to happen, the partnerships that needed to be formed, the funding, the cost structure, all that kind of thing. And then after that, we performed the feasibility analysis, so you had a written document with, this is the idea, this is it laid out, this is how it's going to work.
All right, so promotion. This was my favorite part to work on, for sure. The first thing we kind of did was talk about having a flyer for you. I remember the very first thing was getting that drawing, the yin and yang, finding an artist to do that, as well as someone to do a video. Initially, the video was for the purpose of the pitch. I think it's kind of evolving to be just a promotional video. Now that that's over with, our main thing was trying to use our resources as students to get these things for low to no cost. Because there are a lot of artists out there who do fantastic work, but $100 an hour is kind of steep.
Yes.
We don't necessarily have a budget to work with yet. So we got Auburn Weidman for that video. We know you guys met up and had some fun stuff happening there. The second thing we focused on promotion was starting to get the word out. It's a little early to sell a ticket per se to the show, but it's easy to kind of spread that message, get that going, so that Facebook page. Talked about designing your campaign, how to keep things updated, even if it was just, hey, this video's from when I met Raven, this is us talking on the phone, this is the first time we performed the Raven song in wherever in the world you were at the time, in a way to keep your customers engaged until you were ready to say, here's tickets, or here's the date, here's the official flyer. Then talking more about SEO, we know one of the main concerns for the Raven project is if you type it into Google, there are thousands of Raven projects that come up. Luckily, the way Facebook works, it has that geographic kind of focus. So if I'm in Columbia looking for the Raven project, your Raven project comes up first. The benefit of it is the more of your friends who get to like it,
Right.
the more people will see it, the more Facebook knows, okay, this is located in a certain area with these type of people who are associated with Jay. So 2 months from now, when you get on the internet and you're in Columbia and you type in the Raven Project, Jhe Russell, you will be the first thing that comes up. And customer engagement, again, something super important to you. We know you are a very friendly, happy guy who loves to interact with people. So that was no problem for you. And then an added benefit that came in is after sharing this project, because we loved it so much with our friends and telling them we were working on something, our friend Khadija Dennis, USC journalism student, decided to do a story for her journalism class on the Raven Project. This benefits, you get more students in that realm of journalism who are learning about it, professors on that end who are learning about it, more people you can engage later on as customers.
Awesome.
So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the budget for making the big night happen and what all is going to go into spreading all the money out and allocating different amounts to different areas. And you set a target for $15,000 to make this big night happen. And I think the key to that was bringing you down from $30,000 to $15,000 with
Right.
free resources that you were able to find, which was a great thing that happened to make it seem more feasible in our heads. And obviously essential costs include things like the Koger, renting out the Koger for the night, $1,700 there. Marketing, I think, is the second key because I think any extra money that you have should be allocated directly back into marketing for the purpose of selling tickets
Right.
exclusively because that is, I'm not sure exactly how profitable you want this project to be, but in my mind, if you reach, say, 2,000 tickets, it becomes a very profitable thing that can have a benchmark for other future investors to look into and say, wow, this is something I really want to potentially reinvest in and have you have a traveling tour of the show. And then the last essential cost is staging the performance, things like stage labor, dance labor, the other costs that are involved at the Koger, stuff like that. And obviously the estimation of profit is based solely off of the fact of how many tickets are sold.
Right.
So, projected income, I think the minimum benchmark would have to be 1,000 tickets to break even on the project. Actually, with the workshop sales, you could also make like a little extra money on top of it. But 1,000 tickets would be the minimum to break even at the $15 ticket mark, which you also said was debatable up or down in either way. But we ended up talking about $15, which is good. And going up to 2,000 tickets, that number increases to doubling your the dance company's investment of $15,000. And then the expenses are laid out on the next slide. This is kind of just like a simple roadmap, not really exactly, it's your money obviously and you get to allocate it how you want, but this is kind of a roadmap that we came up with to try and figure out where the best places to spend all your money would be. So $3,000 on labor, up to $800 on costumes and props. Like if anything were to go under budget, I would say allocate back to marketing and increase ticket sales that way. But yeah, everything else is laid out there. But yeah, marketing promotion is already one of the biggest costs in my mind, and I think I'm putting most emphasis on that for an expense for you.
Awesome.
All right, funding. So you came to us, you said you had this project, $30,000. The first thing, like Alex said, is we needed to do was make a minimum viable product. The Raven project at $30,000 seat sounded amazing. That's what we all signed up for. But when we talked it through with you, even you saw the benefit of, hey, I work with these kids. Why don't we let them have a ballet? Why don't I use the things to engage people more? So your product became more engaging for consumers. The consumers are the people who are dancing with you as well. And then it was a lot less of a liability for you to ask even your dance school or any investor to say $30,000 on this project that hasn't happened yet. So establishing that helped kind of solidify your vision as well as make it more feasible that you would find that money in the time that you needed. Finding money, got to that pitch. Pitch perfect. So we knew that you wanted to present to the board of the Southeastern School of Ballet for $5,000 is what they said they would do. We created that feasibility analysis for you and started working on hearing your pitch. I think one of our major concerns in the beginning was we weren't sure how transcendent your pitch would be if people, excuse me, were more on a business end and didn't really understand the arts. And I think we can all say we were really, really happy when we started hearing you pitch, because we were like, this is perfect. It takes the emotion, it takes the business. So before we figured out we were going to get any funding or whether they had agreed to it, we also started working on a GoFundMe campaign. It wasn't going to raise all $15,000, but it would be a great way to be able to market your business, market the cause and the story behind the Raven Project. One of the things that I enjoyed doing with you was kind of sitting down and hearing it from the very, very beginning. The movie you watched about Raven Wilkinson, all the way to meeting her and speaking to her, because that's the story of the Raven Project. That's, excuse me, excuse me. That's where it was born out of, and working on that GoFundMe page and starting to type out, okay, well, this is where it came from the very beginning. Going through that story, getting to the end is how you engage customers, not only to like it or want to come, but then to say, hey, I want to give money to this, in addition to buying a ticket. Luckily for us, that didn't have to happen. Your pitch was so fantastic, and our feasibility analysis was so on point that the Southeastern School of Ballet offered to assume responsibility of all $15K. That's amazing. One of the things this does let you do is, now that you know you have someone who's committed to doing the funding, if you still wanted to partner with some of those other organizations just for the purposes of marketing or getting people involved and engaged to come out to reach that 1,000, 200,000 people at the final event, it's a lot less of a liability for someone to support you and put their name on it, because they don't have to dive into their pockets.